Well, I'm on the phone with Mark Shields, a head football coach, as we are from MDI, as we are every Monday and Thursday. And Coach, I guess it was a game of would've, could've, should've. MDI hung in with Winslow, just down by 7 points at the half, and as we were just talking, I thought it was a battle of heavyweights, just slugging each other and giving each other their best punches, and especially during that first half.
Yeah, it definitely was, Chris. We knew going down there that we're going to have to play a physical football game. That's the style of football that Winslow plays, and if you're going to want to be competitive with Winslow, you have to be physical. And our kids definitely answered the challenge for that aspect of the game. I thought we were just as physical, and at times I thought we were more physical than Winslow. So really happy about that. I was happy that the kids, they went down there thinking in their minds that they could beat this team, and they played that well and that way. And unfortunately, turnovers, you can't turn the ball over, and we talk about it all the time on this show. In big games, it's going to usually come down to special teams and turnovers, and sure enough, we give up a kickoff return, and that was a tough one because we had, just...
You were up 8-7 at that point.
Yep, taking the lead and sort of had some confidence going, and then we give that up, and then just turning the ball over, and the kids feel bad about it. I'm not bringing that up to point anybody out particularly. It's just in general you can't turn the ball over, and there are crucial times. I think one of the biggest turnovers we had was late in the first half when we're driving. We stopped them. We're driving, and I felt like at that point we're ahead. There's 5 minutes to go in the game. We're wearing them down. I mean, we were driving the ball right down the field and just power football. And, sure enough, we had a problem with our quarterback-center exchange and fumbled that. They jump on it. And then they drive down the field, and they punch it in less than a minute to go, and now they're up 27-20 going to halftime with the confidence and the momentum and, the lead. And
right.
I thought that was pretty big in the game, but hats off to our kids. They battled right to the end, and I've been looking at some of the articles in the paper out of Waterville, and Coach Zavisky of Winslow saying that they started using our style of offense late in the game, trying to run the ball, power the ball, and try to take time off the clock to try to keep us off the field because that's what we're trying to do to them. So it really was a fun game if you're into kind of smash mouth football and running the football and controlling the clock. That's what both teams tried to do, and unfortunately Winslow came out on top this time. But it gave us confidence knowing that we could play with the two-time defending state champion. And I think if we play our best football, we can be right there with them and maybe beat them. So learn from it and move on and get ready for your next opponent.
It very much was. I wrote in the article on the WDEA website. It was a statement game. I think Winslow proved why they're the cream of the crop, but MDI also proved that hey, we're an upper echelon team.
Yeah, definitely. Year in year out, Winslow is usually at the top, and many years there's a lot of teams that aren't quite with them, and we're battling week in, week out with one another, and and it's kind of like, for what? We're probably doing it for who's going to get second place. But, the Old Town team showed last year that they were right there with them and almost beat them in the East Main Championship. And, I think there's still some teams out there that can, and not only us. I believe there are some teams in our conference that can play with them. There's an interesting matchup this Friday night. Winslow comes to Madison, and Madison, they've been ripping off some big scores. They really took it to Foxcroft and with a big score, and they're a high-powered offense, and they got some big boys. They're a physical team as well. That's going to be an interesting game between those two.
All right, so let's wrap things up here with the Winslow week. How did you make out in terms of injuries? I know Croy Albee, I think, took a helmet or something to the small of the back.
Yep, so Croy after the game was in some discomfort. So his mom and dad took him to the hospital down there in Waterville. They had x-rays done. And the good news is that, excuse me, that he had some bruising of his ribs, but nothing was fractured. He had some muscle spasms going on in his back, and he took a helmet to the lower back, and that's a tough injury, and that could have gone a lot worse for him and us. And thank goodness, that's not true. And we're looking into getting him some padding, maybe a flap jacket of some sort to protect his ribs. And we'll be smart this week, monitoring him. Dan Vibert, our trainer, will monitor him throughout the week. And right now, he's day to day. I wouldn't say he's going to play or he's not going to play versus Herman Friday night. But once again, we want to be smart about how we go about making sure he's healthy, and we won't put him on the field until we know that he is, and because we don't want to make that injury any worse. And Drake Janes, Dan Vibert needs to evaluate him this week and figure out where he's at with his knee, and then we'll move on from there. Abram Malloy still dealing with his eye injury. He has another appointment on Thursday, and he may or may not be cleared to play, but I think he's getting close. The doctors are saying that he's starting to heal up. He's looking good, and I think if not this week, hopefully next. And, we'll move on from there. But coming out of a Winslow game, as physical as that was, I thought we did pretty well.
I watched a little bit of the Herman Old Town game on TV on Friday night, and that Herman team likes to throw, or at least they did against Old Town on Friday night.
Yeah, they do. Big change from last year for Herman. They were in that double wing, real tight split, just running the ball. This year they've gone to a more traditional style of football. They run some spread, and looks like they run some eye from time to time. And they want to throw the ball. You're right. They threw the ball on any situation, really. I mean, it could be first down, second down, third down. It really didn't matter. They feel like they can throw the ball at any time in the game. And we have the same record as them. We're both 2-1. So this is a huge game for both programs, trying to get ourselves, situated in the playoffs. And, they're going to come down here and they're going to play hard.
What do you work on this week?
Yeah, once again, I think for us, we just got to keep getting better at what we do. Definitely me as the running backs coach, I'll be working on some ball maintenance drills. I do weekly, but I think I might do even more this week because we cannot be turning the football over. And it sounds like.
Let me ask you. Let me just interrupt you for a second. Was it a case of the boys trying to do too much, or was it? I mean, because it looked like they were holding the ball well. I mean, it wasn't like they were flopping the ball all around. I mean, Winslow certainly had some jarring tackles.
Yeah, and that was part of it. I mean,
and they swarmed. I mean, they swarmed to the tackle. It wasn't like a one-off tackle. They kind of hold you up and then let someone come in and almost like a rugby come in and try and strip the ball.
Yeah, they do. I mean, they're real physical in what they do. They tackle well. They swarm to the ball. And I know a couple fumbles that we had was just that one of our guys, he was wrapped up, and then two or three other guys came in and knocked the ball away. So, yeah, I mean, our guys, they really do take pride in protecting the football because I stress that week in, week out, and we work on it every week. So I know the guys, they felt terrible that occurred, and sometimes it just happens. You see it in the NFL and college, and it just happens. But it's something that we can reinforce during the week and keep working on it, keep getting better at it. But overall as a team, I don't think at this point in the season you start putting a lot of new stuff in. I really believe that you just keep getting better at what you're doing, and hopefully that translates out on the field Friday night versus Herman.
Winslow consistently tried to run at that, the left defensive side on kickoff returns. Was there younger kids there, or was that just the way that they were blocking and that's the way they went?
Yeah, I think it's more on their end than ours. I think they do. It looked like they wanted to run right for whatever reason. Maybe it was something they saw on tape against us. I'm not sure. a couple of times we had some guys that were injured, some minor injuries, or they were just tired and they needed a break, so they came out on the kickoff team. And that's kind of those special teams, unfortunately, are sometimes those two-way starters, a time when they'll be like, Coach, can I get a blow here? Can I get a rest? And we'll try to put someone else in there. And, once again, no fault of any of the younger guys that we put in there, inexperienced guys. They played hard. It's just sometimes when you throw a kid in there that hasn't been repping that all week, especially when you think of kickoff, because it's all about lane integrity. You got to run your lane. If everybody runs your lane, it's like an umbrella, and you're trying to snatch the runner. But if somebody, loses their lane integrity, then that lane opens, wide open, and it did. That touchdown that they had, it just opened right up, and they're just too good and too fast to do that, and they definitely exploited that.
It'd be nice to be at home after a couple of weeks, won't it?
Yeah, we're glad to be back. I've been on the road the last couple of weeks, and really looking forward to having a big crowd. I know the Acadian Football League, they're announcing their guys Friday night, so including my son. So, it'd be kind of fun to have them. And I think Mr. Dow has told them if they have their football jerseys on, they get in for free. So, I'm hoping we have a big crowd come Friday night.
Right, and the band will be there, the cheerleaders there. I mean, it's just the weather is supposed to be cool on the cool side, so it's a chance of rain this far out. But that's ideal football weather. I mean, it was hot down in Winslow on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, you're starting to see it. The nights are getting cooler, and the days are still fairly warm right now, but I mean, ideally, football players, they like October.
Right.
They really do. They like October and early November, where it's, it's getting down more into the 60s and sometimes 50s, and because those guys are working hard and they get hot, and they like it cooler. And it has been warm, and it was definitely warm down there on Saturday in Winslow.
It's it's a regular week, but odd because it's a Friday night game, so you actually lose a day of practice compared to what you've been used to. Right.
So tonight being Monday, we'll watch film with the kids, and we'll lift them in the weight room, and then we'll head up to the field and do a little walkthrough. And you're right. So Tuesday and Wednesday are our so-called work days, and we'll have to split up offense, defense, and special teams both nights, which you don't get as much time as you would on a Saturday week because you get to go all offense on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and you have to split it up, and then all of a sudden Thursday it's pregame. So it's going to feel quick this week. You're right. As a coach, where we've had 2 Saturday weeks, it's been nice because you can kind of ease on into the week and you have more time to work on stuff. But no rest for the wicked this week.
Right. And then Thursday night you've got the team dinner, and I'm amazed these boys love cucumbers, is what I'm reading.
Do they really? I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's the moms are looking for cucumbers.
That's good to know. That's good to know. I know we had a lot of watermelon early in the year. We went over to Schoodic, and we brought it back with us and had more of it when we got back. So watermelon, that's good. I mean, cucumbers, that's great.
I guess. I was just, next thing they're going to be wanting is Brussels sprouts. I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
All right. What do you want to say to the fans of MDI High School?
Yeah, once again, thank you for your continued support. We had a real nice crowd down there Saturday versus Winslow. I think people are excited about the season and excited about the kids on the team, and hopefully we can get a big crowd down here Friday night versus Herman.
All right, Coach. Have a good week. We'll talk on Thursday.
Sounds good, Chris. Thank you. Sounds good, Chris. Thank you. Sounds good.